on YouTube, so I'm not going to say anything more, but hi. Good to have you, that's for sure. Okay, with that in mind, then let me just say two things before we get started. The first one is we're ready to start something new today. I think moving us into a little higher vibration, just a little higher energy, and that's going to be on seeing ourselves as soul identities. And I just think it's really a neat thing, and we'll be doing several talks on this in the future. But more than anything else, as you're sitting here right now, so I'm going to speak for myself, I never thought at soon to be 75 that I would have that same enthusiasm, maybe more so, more enthusiasm and more joy than I think I ever had in my life, and how the enthusiasm and the joy elevates as we continue to be one with that elevating energy. It's kind of those words of Paramahansa Yogananda, always fresh, always new. Now, it is pretty interesting to find something always fresh and always new, isn't it? I mean, to feel that and to know that, and then to be able to celebrate that with others, well, it's probably as good as it gets. It just seems to me to make an awful lot of sense. So it's that enthusiasm and that joy that we're going to be expanding in that I think will be the essence of our service. So rise up on our feet, and we begin with a couple of songs. First of all, number 3, like to teach the world to sing. Joanne? Or Joanne. Maureen, how about that? I like to teach the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. It's the real thing, what the world wants today. That's the way it'll stay. It's the real thing. It's the real thing, what the world wants today. That's the way it'll stay. It's the real thing. I'd like to see the world for once, all standing hand in hand, and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. It's the real thing that the world wants today. That's the way it'll stay. It's the real thing. Really, that's our goal, is not to really, in a sense, furnish the world with love, to see us standing hand in hand, not necessarily physically hand in hand, but being in oneness energetically. To do that, we have to have that joy, joy, joy down in our hearts. So number 19 in our books, number 19, 17, 17. Joy, joy, joy down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. I've got that peace that passes understanding down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got that peace that passes understanding down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. I've got that love of God that dwells within me down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got that love that passes within me down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. I've got the faith to listen to my guidance down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got the faith to listen to my guidance down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. I am one with all of you down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I am one with all of you down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. I am one with all others down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I am one with all others down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. My favorite, to sing this song together, down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. It's really fun to sing this song together, down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. Not bad, not bad. Bravo, bravo for all of us. Thank you, Maureen. Please be seated. We have this little reflective song, Imagine, number 9 in our books. And having that joy down in our heart is part of it, but also being reflective and understanding the possibilities of life is another part of it. So imagine, that was John Lennon. Oh, it's terrible for me even to say that. I presume it was him. Yes, sir, thank you. Which gives you a pretty good indication of where I am with music history.
That's all right.
But the words are the thing. Number 9.
Imagine there's no heaven.
It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. For imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing on to feel or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. That is certainly such a beautiful song, and I think we could say that we are all dreamers, that we kind of feel that that dream is becoming our reality. We live as one. We just do. We have that presence within us, and we have it among ourselves, and doesn't mean that everyone might be there yet, but that's the way we're living. And it's just wonderful to be inclusive, to bring people together, and to feel that energy deeply within ourselves. So I hope you feel that, and that's exactly the way that we are living. No longer just an imagination, but the way that we are, the way that we are coming forward. So with that in mind, let me then share with you the talk that I'd like to give today. It's been a joy to be able to greet you each month, and especially to greet you in this monthly teaching. It's specifically joyful for me to greet you because I think that each one of us, in a sense, we are experiencing something differently. I think we can honestly say that we are evolving. I think we can say that we're becoming enlightened. I think we can honestly say that we are becoming self-realized. And I would go so far as to say that we are becoming evolutionary leaders. We are showing what it's like to be able to live in this world with a sense of oneness, of bringing heaven to earth. And my feeling is that not only are we living this way, but this is just, in a sense, a foretaste of what is to come. So it's just really a joy to be able to greet you. What I want to suggest, therefore, in this month's teaching is to be able to show, in a sense, how we have changed, and then after we see the importance of how we have changed, to be able to realize that foretaste, what it's really like and how we can live this way. So my monthly teaching is entitled Soley Soul. Soley Soul. Let's begin. I think it was inevitable that it was going to happen, that sooner or later people would wake up. Wake up for what? What I'd like to suggest is that people, you and I, are now waking up from the fundamental tragedy of the human condition. We are waking up from the fundamental tragedy of the human condition, namely, that we feel that we have been separated from a universal power, that we have been separated from the larger God Spirit of the universe. I believe this to be the fundamental tragedy, feeling that we are alone and separated and are not a part of that universal power, and because of that universal power, that we are one with each other. I believe that we are, in a sense, waking up that on this day, today, we are beginning to realize that we are not just nice people, we are not just good personalities, but I believe that we are really waking up to the notion that we are eternal souls. That as we're sitting here right now, we are an eternal soul. And we've been able to move from ego-centered living to be able to move into soul-centered living. And that our soul-centeredness is really becoming our natural way of living in the world. I believe that we've been able to lay aside a lot of the obstacles of the ego and have begun to enter into that way of living where we can really live unconditionally with great love and great creativity as souls. That we knew someday along the way, we, like the Buddha, who got the name of being the awakened one, would also wake up. And I believe that we are doing that more and more and more. We've awakened from what we were not, simply our human personalities, into what we truly are, namely, that we really are, sitting here right now, eternal souls. Let's be clear. You are not your mind, although you do have one. Although sometimes it seems like we're losing it, I must say. Good for us. We are not our emotions, although we have those too. We are not our bodies, although we have one of them. And we are not our life circumstances, although we are often very immersed in them. But as we're sitting here right now, what we really are souls. We are souls. We are the creators and the observers. We are the creators and the observers of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our body, and of our life circumstances. We are the experiencer of our experiences. We create them, we observe them, we experience them, but we are not them. We are souls. You and I, we've come a long way in seeing ourselves as souls and not simply as bodies with personalities. What I'd like to suggest to you is that there are two very important questions that we have answered. The first question I'd like to suggest to you is this: how do you find something when you've mislaid it? How do you find something when you've mislaid it? My suggestion is, well, you keep your mind on it until you recall it. I think that probably more than anything else is exactly what has happened to each one of us. Let me explain. Probably for most of us, we have mislaid our sense of self. We've got so caught up in all of the things of the world that there's a tendency to kind of forget your true self. It doesn't mean that the things of the world are not important. And certainly I think every one of us is immersed in our family, friends, communities, etc. But so many times those things in which we're immersed can obfuscate, or they can cover over the true self that is beneath us. It's like, in a sense, we've got so involved in what we're doing that we sometimes have a tendency to forget who we are in the doing of those things. Now let me just suggest, this is pretty easy to do, especially when you got a lot of people around you saying you ought to be doing this and that. And then you have society saying, well, you know, you ought to be doing this and that. It's pretty easy in a sense to be confused. It's kind of easy to get lost. You kind of forget, in a sense, who you are. It's very easy to mislay your sense of self. It's just very easy to mislay your sense of self until it becomes too painful. Until it becomes too painful. Until, in a sense, your view of life, in a sense, has a tendency to be rather negative. Until, in a sense, that you get so involved with people and things that you forget that person or that entity that is within you. Until your mind and your emotions take over and you just wonder what in the heck you're doing. Until the acquisitions of the world no longer satisfy you. Until, in a sense, the suffering just isn't worth it. Or until you end up dying and you leave it all. We have stopped getting lost. We have stopped being confused. We have stopped the suffering of the ego being in charge. We have stopped mislaying our sense of self. I would just want to suggest to you that we have awakened. Each one of us has been able to let go of that which isn't real, simply the ego and all of the stuff out there, and had been attached now in union with that which is real, that true soul, that presence, that inner you that is at the very center of our beings. The Buddha would be proud of us. Jesus would be proud of us. We're proud of us. We're proud of each other, and we're proud of the support that we offer each other. I would suggest that we have awakened together. We have awakened together. Now, don't you get excited about that we have awakened together. We've awakened to what is really real. What I want to suggest to you is that it has been your sincerity, your searching, your inquiring and questioning that has opened up that second major question for you and for me, and that is, who am I really? Just who am I sitting here really? And what I want to suggest is the following. What we really are, sitting here right now, are eternal souls. We are eternal souls. And what I'd like to suggest to you is that it means three things. The first one, I always say with a little smile within myself, the first meaning of that notion is the fact that we have all wised up. We've all gotten smarter, really. When the Buddha, in a sense, was giving his eightfold path, the 8 instructions, in a sense, how to become enlightened, he said the first thing you have to learn is you have to know what the truth is. And the truth is, we are these eternal beings. Here we are. We are these eternal beings. When Plato was giving his philosophy, beautiful philosophy and so on in Greece, he said the primary problem with most people is ignorance. They just don't know who they really are, so they get lost in all of the stuff that they aren't, and because everyone seems to approve of it, it's okay. But the Buddha and Plato, they really, in a sense, have helped each one of us, in a sense, to wise up. We're smart. We're no longer, in a sense, dumb. You know who you are. You know who you are. You are an eternal soul. But here's the best part, I think anyways. The best part is you don't have to wait to die to become an eternal soul. You're an eternal soul right here, right now. You don't have to die and then go somewhere. You're an eternal soul right here, right now. You don't have to die and go with the God somewhere out there to become who you already are, right here, right now, and especially right here. And the thing that's very important about it, it's not just that you think this, but now you know this. You're experiencing this. This is not just a Pollyanna something, but it's a feeling. It's an experience. It's a presence. It's a knowing within us. Which brings me to the second point. We're beginning to understand, in a sense, that whenever we are sincere, and just follow me, it's really pretty simple, but whenever you are sincere and wherever you are truly earnest, you begin to open up a reality that is very important for us. In fact, you begin to open up 2 still points within you. So just for a moment, sitting here right now, when you take a moment to pause and go to your higher mind, you begin to realize that in your higher mind are all of the principles and all of the values you're ever going to need in your life. But you need to pause. Step back, go to that higher place wherein you have the principles and values of living. And then you have a second still point that all of you know about. That second still point is that place within you, your opened heart. But you have to pause. When you pause and go to that place within you, and you feel that inner presence, that inner you then begin to realize, well, you really have the guidance you need in any situation in life. See, that's how we've wised up. Because we've taken the time to go to the still points. We've taken the time to go to the still points of our higher minds and open hearts. Because we've taken the time to pause, we've been sincere and earnest in our pausing. Now we know what to do wherever we are in life. Whenever you are earnest and sincere, you begin to open up those still points which become the basis of our everyday living. You cannot pause, and you can truck right on, and you'll truck right on until you don't feel like trucking on anymore, or it's too painful. And then we go back to the still points, because in the pausing, in the opening up, there is just the guidance that we truly seek. So the first point I said to you was, it's very important for us. We've wised up, taken that advice of the Buddha and Plato. And secondly, we have earnestly opened up the still points, the higher mind and the open heart. It's the third point that is pretty interesting, though. The third point I would suggest to you is this. As you have opened up your soul, there's an incredible love that is within you, and a kindness that emanates from you. There's this love that is within you, and the kindness that emanates from you. First, the love. As a soul, you realize that you are in direct contact with the universal God energy. And you begin to realize that that energy moving through you, is the most loving, most beautiful, most understanding energy there ever possibly could be. There's a presence that is now within you. You can no longer do an act that is unkind or unloving. You can't do that anymore. There is just something within you that you know. And in your connection to that universal energy, you just begin to feel that sense of oneness throughout everything. What I simply want to suggest to you is that what you know as the fact of your relationship to the divine through being a soul results in your loving disposition. Because you're connected, that fact gives you the results of feeling that energy. Paramahansa just called it always fresh, always new. And whether you experience that as a warm fuzzy or eternal bliss, however you do it, it just boils down to you know you're in that energy. You cannot not be in that energy. And more, we feel that within ourselves. Isn't it wonderful to feel that energy? To feel that as your presence. This is who I am. It's taken us a while to get here, but it's wonderful, wonderful. Oh yes, this is who I am. The second aspect of that, which I would suggest to you, is that once you feel the alignment with that universal energy, then you cannot not be aligned with each other. You cannot be disrespectful to anyone anymore, even if they seem to be attacking or disrespectful to you. You just understand, well, they're just having a bad day. They're just having a bad day. But it is not detracting from you. In fact, what I would suggest to you is that the kindness that we are extending has two major factors to it. The first one, very simply, is that our goal is to assist others to know that they are souls, to know that God connection within them. That's our primary duty here. Not to try to tell someone what to do, but to show them where to look so that they might experience the very same thing that we are experiencing. Because we're very confident that, gee, if we can do it, anyone can do it, huh? Because that energy is at the very center of who we are. And then the second thing I would just suggest to you is that, there are times where it's not going to be lovey-dovey with everyone. We understand that. But the most important thing I would just suggest to you is that we do not allow a seemingly negative external situation to break our energetic unity with people. We don't allow that to happen because we know that if there is exclusion, the exclusion begins within us. So it's very important for us to maintain the inclusion. It's the oneness. It's like Stan and Sandy have said, it's going from a me first world to one of oneness. Not only in a sense do you feel better, but everyone else feels better as well. So I'm just suggesting those three things, that we have wised up, that we are earnest, and therefore we've opened the still points. And because we have, we feel that we're very much filled with love, and we are very, very kind. I would say that we are living heaven on earth. We've brought the non-physical into the physical. Now, isn't that just so much fun? In conclusion, what I would simply want to suggest is that the shift has happened. The shift from seeing ourselves simply as a separated ego into an eternal soul with other eternal souls as part of the oneness is occurring. It's the way we live. It's the way we live. We get it. We get it. And we get it because we have taken the time to study it. We have smartened up. We are earnest and have opened up our still points. And as a result of that, we become very loving and very kind. In succeeding months, I'm going to talk a little bit more about soul awareness, but let me close with these particular words. To remember what needs to be remembered is the secret of success. To remember what needs to be remembered is the secret of success. Anything else than remembering yourself as an eternal soul is less than you are. Let's bring that into meditation. Let's set the stage by, I think we're going to let go of that shore, page 7.
Let go of the shore and let the
Waters carry you. Let go of the shore. Pull into the mystery.
You have all you need, it's
All inside of you. Close your eyes and breathe, and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery.
no
Need to make a plan, your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails and faith, and trust you arrive. Let go of the shore
and let the water carry you.
Let go of the shore,
Float
into the mystery. It's a pleasure now to lead you into meditation. Let's begin by simply setting the intention. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity of knowing ever more clearly who we are. Fully now dedicate yourself to this meditation. Let's begin the meditation by, again, just taking a few breaths, just following your normal focused breathing, breathing in, breathing out. Concentrate, focus on this. And as you do so, you'll begin to feel, in a sense, your body relaxing even more. Your mind beginning to clear, and you'll be bringing your soul to the fore via the breath. Natural breathing rhythm, nothing forced, but focused. Please begin. Just ask you to continue the breath, and shortly I'll ask you to notice two things. But for the moment, just continue the breath. Nice, easy breathing. Stay focused. Feel the movement, the in and the out, allowing yourself to come forward. The first thing that I ask you to notice is, would you notice simply how in a couple of minutes you become more peaceful? You'll become more peaceful because you are pausing. You are pausing. Nothing to think about, nothing to do, but simply pausing. And in this process of pausing, you begin to feel an inner peace. Would you just notice that? You're not thinking, you're not doing anything, but there is an undeniable presence within you. There is this presence, quite clear. Focus on that. Now, would you notice a second thing? This presence within you, this larger feeling, has an identity to it. I'll say it again. This presence within you, this larger feeling, has an identity to it. The identity of this larger presence is you. The identity of this larger inner presence is you. It's your soul. Clear as a bell. Clear as a bell. You're not thinking, you're not emoting, you're not physically involved, your life circumstances are out there, but none of them are you. For you are identifying clearly with the presence within you, your soul. From your soul, you are creating consciously the reality of your life. It's the way it works. You can be unconscious in the ego, or you can be conscious from your soul. I'm going to ask you to put your hand over your heart area, where we normally feel that soul presence most clearly. And just take a few breaths, knowing that energy within you. and just saying to yourself, this is what I want to be, my all the time me. This is who I am. I want to have the inner me express itself in love and kindness in the outer me. Would you now join Maureen in singing the prayer of St. Francis on page 19, I believe, in our booklets, and then moving to page 16, understanding that we are blessings to the world.
Make me a channel
Of your peace,
where
there is no dread, let me bring your love.
where
There is injury, your healing power. And where there's doubt, true faith in you.
make
Me a channel of your peace. There is despair in life, let me bring hope. There is sadness, darkness only light. Where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to love as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in ourselves that we receive. And in dying that we're born to eternal life.
You are the heart,
You are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and all you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world.
we are
The heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I want you to just focus on that, the chi, the things we do, the words we say, the smiles we give. They're blessings to the world. We get it. We're living this way. What joy in creation. Return now to the rhythm of your breathing. No change, is there? How about that? No change. No change. Whether our eyes are opened, our eyes are closed, focusing on our breath, we are souls. This is really nice, being in the changeless energy of this wonderful, loving presence that we call the God Spirit. And just when you're ready now, bring that attention back into the room, into your body personas, opening up those lovely eyes and allowing your soul essence to shine through.